Hello chess friends and welcome to Zarov's chess channel and welcome to the Tata Steel Rapid Blitz tournament in 2019 in India. So we have the winner and it's of course Magnus Carlsen. He played almost a perfect tournament and deserves to be on the first place. Hikaru Nakamura also on second place, a great accomplishment. I think he didn't lose the game at all in this blitz format and deserves really also to be on the second place. You may ask yourself, why have I started this video with my introduction from this Basics in Chess series? Because I've made a decision. If you're more familiar with my YouTube chess channel, in which I have this series Basics in Chess, I have also this commented chess games in which I show you now the current tournaments that are going on, but I have also this this Basics in Chess series in which I've created more than 100 strategy videos for you guys, so you can check it out. I'll show you the links at the end of this video. And I've decided whenever a tournament finishes that I'm gonna choose the most instructive chess game and will add it into my Basics in Chess series. And this game that it was played today, and it was a game played by Liren and Magnus Carlsen. So this game will be added also in this Basics in Chess series, but it will be added also in my series commented chess games. So you can, if you're following more this commented chess games, you can see there. If you're following this Basics in Chess series with some strategy elements, with this tactical elements, you can see it also there. So why did I choose this game? Because I've seen many coverage now of this game, and I wasn't really satisfied with many coverage, because this game by Liren against Magnus Carlsen was really great. You'll see why, because this game I think we can understand from the strategical point of view, because here we have the so-called static center setup, which will happen in the continuation of the game, and also this weak square or pawn complex. I'll explain you more when this particular moment happens. So these two strategical elements, if you recognize them in your own games, you can play simply onto that straightforward, playing on the static center setup and also on this weak square or weak pawn complex if your opponent creates such a pawn structure or such a weak square structure. So when that happens, I'm gonna show you the positional ideas about this weak square complex. And Liren really crushed I think Magnus Carlsen in this particular setup of the Dutch defense, because the Dutch defense, although it has a good defensive setup, and it has also a nice strategy of creating a knight outpost on e5. You'll see also more explained in the continuation of the video, of course. But there is this problem about this weak square complex of this setup of pawns. So let's see the game, and when anything important happens, I'll pause, and then I'm gonna show you this strategical elements of this static center setups and also of this weak square or weak pawn complex. So here we have the first move by Liren, d4. Magnus answers with e6, and now we have c4, and now comes the move f5. So so far, of course, the game can transpose into Dutch defense with d6, and it can also transpose maybe into g6. That's why the most flexible move here from White's perspective is, I think, the move g3. I played often also as a d4 player against this setup, and in the game knight on f6 was played by Magnus Carlsen, and now bishop on g2. Now comes the move d5, and here I want you to stop a little bit and let's immediately analyze this pawn structure in the center. So this is now the so-called Dutch defense setup with these three pawns. Although it gives you a possibility to create an outpost here on e4, and it creates you also a nice and firm pawn structure, it's really hard for White to break the pawn structure here with the move f3 or e4. This I wanted to point you out that in some occasions of this Dutch defense, the pawn structure will be like this, and there is now one strategical element in this static center and about this weak square complex here. So first of all, I want to recognize that this is the so-called static center. So this is the first strategical element of this types of pawn structure. So it means that we should try in the static center setups to attack from White's perspective these two squares, the c5 square, and occupy somehow maybe even the e5 square. From Black's perspective, you will try to cement something, maybe a knight or bishop here on c4, or maybe a rook even here, so playing an outpost on c4 or on e4. So the most important thing for black here is maybe to jump with your knight here on the square e4. So these are the strategical elements of this static center setups. But this is not only a static center setup, this is also a weak square complex here by black. The problem about this setup is always this light square bishop, because you have your weak light square bishop. On the other hand, white has a good light square bishop which attacks immediately the center. So one of the most important strategical elements here is a positional trade of pieces. So it means we should, from white's perspective, always try to trade off here the dark square bishop, because the dark square bishop of black has a good activity. It can go here on d6, maybe even on b4, attacking you. Here also white has also good dark square bishop, but it's more important to get rid of these two bishops and then continue the game with your light square bishop, because I just want you to imagine this position now that was played by Magnus Carlsen from black's perspective, and maybe after 25 or 30 moves something like this can happen. You see now the problems. So maybe we have now, if we trade off these dark square bishops after many moves, this types of position in which maybe you see black is continuing the game with your light square bishop and has all of his pawns on light squares, and you see the king and the bishop are really stuck to the defense of the c6 pawn, and now we can try maybe something like bishop on h5, and this would be a completely winning endgame here for white. So you see, although the Dutch defense is a firm and strong defense, but it has these problems of always of this light squares, of these light square bishops. So that's why, as I said, here in these types of position, one of the main strategical ideas is to trade off the dark square bishops. Of course, the knights have always some flexibility to jump maybe on e4, maybe on d6, maybe attack the c4, but the most important thing is to get rid of the dark square bishop. So you'll see now how Liren will do that. After knight on f3, we have bishop on d6, and now bishop on f4. It seems like a really strange move, but as I said, in the static center and in these weak square complex positions, it's really important to realize the potential trades of pieces. So now bishop on f4, and from this point on, I think we can understand the whole game that Liren will play. So this is really a video, I think, that even weak players can understand the strategical elements after bishop on f4. Here Magnus took bishop on f4, we have g takes f4, and you see we are even threatening here something like c5. If we manage to do that, if we in some occasions manage to fix the position here on c5, so far it's not possible because black will crack your position with immediately b6. But if we manage to fix somehow, then this bishop, really this light square bishop, is blocked out by its own pawns. And I want you now to really compare these two activities of this bishop, of this light square bishop. The bishop on g2 is perfectly fine, still attacking here the d5. On the other hand, this bishop on c8 is blocked out by its own pawn. So this bishop on f4, as I said, it seems like a strange move, but from a positional point of view, it's a perfect move. So here Carlsen simply castled, now Liren simply developed. As I said, this game I'm not going to explain you through some tactics, because it's not a tactical game, it's really a positional beauty played by Liren. So c6, here we have e3. You see white is building here this fortress on dark squares, but when we build that, of course, the light square bishop's activity just improves, because after the move e3 we have even this diagonal to attack black's position. Again, I'm pointing you out that this bishop on c8 is blocked out. So here b6 by Carlsen tries to have at least some kind of an activity, maybe preparing c5 himself to open somehow the light square bishop. But now Liren, as I said, in the static center setups, I've explained it in the beginning of this video, is to cement something like the knight maybe on c5 or e5, and from black's perspective the idea is to cement something like on e4 or c4. So that's why we have, as I'm pointing out here, the static center setup like in this position. Now of course knight on e5 played by Liren, because it was the most important thing was to get rid of the dark square bishop, because you would love now to have this dark square bishop and attack this outposted knight, because this knight is bothering us. Because let's flip the board a little bit. Here this knight, if you would be black now in this position, I think this knight would bother you for sure, because it attacks also this c6 pawn. It creates also some very dangerous attacking possibilities after maybe something like h4 and similar ideas. So I think that this is very hard to play now from black's perspective. So okay, let's flip the board again. As said, in the continuation, knight on e5 was played, and now you see Magnus Carlsen can never attack immediately here this knight on e5, so that's why bishop on b7 was played, and now Liren plays very nice move, rook on c1, because you don't want to take also here this pawn d takes c4, because then you see we have this very annoying attack, sort of a pin here by this bishop on this bishop, so you need again many moves in order to make something happen here, like the move c5. So that's why after rook on c1, here finally knight on d7 challenging this very annoying knight. So in the game, queen on a4 was played by Liren, even further attacking this c6 weakness, and now knight on e5, we have f takes e5, and now, as I said, one of ideas also for black is to create an outpost here on e4. But now Liren plays a very interesting idea, c takes d5, undermining really the light squares here, and after c takes d5, now knight on e2. Very important move, not allowing white to advance, black to advance here this f4. If that happens, of course, then the f file will be very dangerous. Queen on h4 and similar ideas. This knight has to come as a defensive piece into the game, and now rook on c8 was played by Carlsen. And if you try something like queen on h4, then we can castle even. It's not a problem, because f4 doesn't bring you so much. I think we can simply take with the knight. If rook sacrifice, then we can of course e takes f4, queen takes on f4, but now I think we can go somehow with the queen into the defense and really defend with the support of this light square bishop. So after rook on c8, here Liren played very cool move, rook takes on c8, queen takes on c8, and now f3. After knight on bishop on c6 was played, queen on b4, and now knight on g5, now king on d2. This is really not a problem, because this is a static center position. As I said, we don't have dynamics in the center. When that happens, you can even stay with your king in the center, which is also a very important strategical element of chess games. If the center is blocked, if the center is static, then it's really possible to stay with your king even in the center. So the king is perfectly fine here, because as I said, we traded off in the beginning the dark square bishop, and we don't have any more troubles that the dark square bishop will attack us. So great position game by Liren. So here queen on d7, rook on c1 of course, and now rook on c8. We have knight on f4, a very cool square for the knight, of course. Now you see we have the problem always to defend this e6 pawn. Now in the game, knight on f7 was played, and now bishop on f1. That's what I meant by putting your pawns on dark squares. You're basically improving the position of your light square bishop. So you see the problems of this light square bishop, it's still blocked out by its own pawn. So very important things, I think, in the continuation. So knight on d8 was played, and now bishop on a6. Here, if you try g5 to kick away the knight, it's not such a good move, because you have knight on h5, and you again have this threat knight on f6. So and if we cement this knight on f6, it cannot be attacked by a minor piece. It can only be attacked by this knight. It cannot be attacked by a bishop, of course, and this knight on f6 would be the best piece on the board. So that's why knight on d8 was played instead of this g5 move. Bishop on a6, bishop on b7, now bishop on b5. Here some perpetual moves, but now after bishop on a6, here we have bishop on b7, and now rook takes on c8, bishop takes on c8, bishop c8, queen on c8, and now queen on e7. Now finally Liren finds a breakthrough here with the immediate attack. If you try knight on c6, then you simply lose a pawn, and it's game over, I think, as queen on e6, knight takes on e6, maybe king on f7. But now again we are attacking this pawn. This pawn is a weakness. We have even possibilities to play something like e4 if the position allows it. So this is simply better for white. So h6 was played by Carlsen because there was also of course this threat to immediately checkmate you on e8. Here in the game, queen on e8 was played, king on h7, and now knight on g6. Now this knight comes very dangerous into the game with the preparation to play knight on f8 and with some discovered attack possibilities. Queen on c4. Magnus is trying probably here to just some perpetual checks, but it's not possible because here Ding played knight on f8, king on g8. We have the discovered attack with the check, of course. Again, you have to go on this one square. You don't have any squares left. Knight on f8, we have king on g8, knight on g6. Now with the preparation to even checkmate Magnus here, because after knight on h7 we have knight on e7, and now the threat is of course to play queen on g8 and it's game over. But of course Magnus has some checks. We have king on e2, queen on b2. It's not a problem here. A couple of checks, king on g2, queen on d2, and now Liren played queen on h3, king on h3. You don't have any good checks anymore. Basically the best move to prolong the game is to give up your queen. I'm just kidding. This is of course completely winning for white, because in the next move you're gonna get checkmated here on g8. So let's go back. As I said, bishop on f4, very important move. So here by Liren, because he realized that we have here the so-called static center, because you see we have this setup in which we are searching for outposts on e5 and c5. On the other hand, as I said, here black would try outposts on c4 and on e4. You saw that Magnus Carlsen played eventually this knight on e4, and as I said, in this weak square complex or weak pawn complex, here all of these pieces having them on light squares, it's not good, because then this bishop on c8 is blocked out. On the other hand, this bishop on g2 is perfectly fine. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this game. I enjoyed it a lot, and I enjoyed this tournament very much. It was a great tournament. I think many great games were played, even by Vishy Anand in this losing game against Magnus Carlsen. It was a great game, I think, in this Ragozin defense. I've covered this game, and you can also check it out. It was a great attack by the Tiger, and I was really a little bit sad when he lost that very nice attacking beauty against Magnus. So, as said, many great games were played, and I hope we will have many of these Rapid and Blitz tournaments, because this is really the format that I like in tournaments. Okay, here are the two links of my Basics in Chess series and my commented chess game series. So as I said, this game will be added on both of this series. Check out my Basics in Chess series, in which I've created really more than 100 videos about chess strategy. See you soon with some more videos, and chess is the best, of course.